Hey guys, it's Ken Maxwell, the Hide Guy. Sorry I didn't have a video blog for you last week, but I was on vacation, so I really didn't have a whole lot I could put out there for you. What I can share is, as far as offers last week, there wasn't very many. Packers were feeling pretty good about themselves after having so many hides reportedly sold the week prior. I talked about that with the 1.2 million reportedly sold. So they wanted to come out, convey a message of being really well sold. Firm price is going to have to pay more. So this week it was very interesting as some of the guys who didn't offer last week actually had offers this week. And a couple of them even actually had pretty sizable offer lists, which was very surprising, especially considering they were telling people the week before we were sold all the way until the month of October. Some of the hides offered were for September shipment. That's prompt. I mean, we're almost to the end of the month. So a bit of a mixed message, I think, given by the Packers, especially when they're trying to tell everybody they're so well sold. As far as this week, I don't think there were any more bids this week as there were last week. I mean, people were talking it was a sluggish week of sales. They were blaming, lack of offers, of course, higher asking prices, and that really scared a lot of people out of the market. So this week, same thing. People bidding minimal quantities, not wanting to take a gamble on large volumes, especially paying more money. And keeping in mind, there were a number of people who were already in Asia traveling, seeing customers during this week. So it continues to appear that there's a lot of trader activity in the market, more so than tanner activity. The traders are the ones who seem to be pushing the market a little bit higher. Prices this week on big Packer hides are up $1 or $2, depending on the Packer, depending on the selection. Cow hides, they tried to do a similar thing in the United States. They had a little bit more difficulty getting that accomplished. They did get 50 cents to $1 more on a few sales, but again, the overall opinion of the industry is that it's very unlikely that we saw the entire harvest sold this week. Speaking of the harvest, it came in at 636,000. It was 660 last week. I think what the Packers did is they kind of overplayed their hand a little bit on the 660 and pulled it back this week a little bit to try to balance the supply and demand on the boxes. So next week we still have a full week of harvest. I look for another number somewhere in that neighborhood of that 640 to 650 next week. As far as the export report this week, there were 387,400 wet salted hides reported. By all means, not a large number. Wet blue sales, even less. We saw 53,100 sold. 440 is the total for the combined sales, I should say. And that's certainly much lower than the 660,000 hides that were sold. And this is leading a lot of people, including myself, to question how can you be sold through the month of October when you're not selling your weekly production. In fact, over the last 3 months, the Packers have sold their production one time. That was that 2 weeks ago where we saw the 1.2 million sold. And just for a point of reference, the last 3 months, the kills average 640,000 animals. Sales are 560,000 and shipments are 535. Of course, that doesn't account for anything for the U.S. domestic soak. You want to call it 35,000. I'm not going to argue with you. But end of the day, in 3 months, Packers have accrued 500,000 hides. That's why right now where I sit, I don't think this firm market is for real. I think it's false. I think we're going to see some pending pressure. Now, that could all change. Should we see a big round of business come next week, the week after, we see some leather orders come in. The thing that is, we're not hearing that from our people on the street that there's lots of leather orders to be had. So take a quick peek around the globe. I hear there's a lot of Europeans traveling in Asia this week, pressing for sales, acting as if they had to have sales and looking for business very hard. Down in Australia, their kill is up. They're suffering from a drought as well as Europe. So the kill in both Europe and Australia is higher. They're struggling for sales. Brazil, I think things are up off the bottom. They're by no means out of the woods on their sales. They are, again, a little higher from their lowest levels here of 2-3 weeks ago. I hear going into the fair, they're going to try to push for a little bit more money. I just think that as a whole, these guys are going to have a hard time trying to convince people to pay more money. So for those traveling to the Shanghai Fair next week, safe travels. I won't be there. Sorry, I've got a personal commitment. So if you can, send me your cards and letters. Let me know what's going on. Otherwise, check out my website, www.themaxfieldreport.com. Also, if you want to, take a free trial, 14 days, no charge. Look for the button at the bottom of the page. We'll speak to you again next week.